Hey everyone, Mr. DVB here. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the 2021 Oscars, which will, in my opinion, go down as the absolute worst Oscars of all time. This show fucking sucked, and I'll start off by saying that none of my issues with the show have to do with any of the winners. Yes, there were some categories that surprised me, mainly Best Actor. I know a lot of people are upset about that. I'll discuss that later. I'm not upset with the win, it's more so just the way they executed everything. But this was a terrible show. I mean, there were so many issues this year, so many problems I had with it. It was genuinely awful. I cannot wait to see what the ratings were, viewer-wise, and just what people thought of the show, because it was atrocious. So I'll just start off by saying that right from the get-go, the show felt off. Obviously, with COVID, things were going to be different this year. It wasn't going to be in the regular location that it is. Instead, it was in some train station cinema area, which just felt weird. I imagine that there was different rooms for like each category, so not everybody was all together. I don't know, it could have been one room, I don't know, but it just felt weird, right? Like, it was shot in letterbox when normally it's widescreen, like a full screen. It was like widescreen instead this time, which I thought was weird, so that felt off. Like, none of it worked. It was just so awkward. And then, you know, as far as the awards go, they did this weird thing where they'd mention the person who's nominated, and then they would give them their backstory about how they got started in their career, which was something I was okay with, but they showed almost no clips this year, and it was such a shit show because you can't even see what they're being nominated for their work. Like, they talk about, oh, this person's nominated for Best Actor. They don't show us a clip of their work. They say, oh, this movie just won visual effects. They don't show a clip of the movie's visual effects. It was terrible. It was just the people who were being nominated.
Like this year's nominees: Love and Monsters, Matt Sloan, Genevieve Camilleri, Matt Everett, and Brian Cox.
Frances McDormand, in this untethered moment, we needed your performance in Nomadland.
And then they would win, and it was terrible. You had no idea what was going on. They didn't show any of the clips, and that was just terrible choice on, you know, the Oscars parts. It was just so boring not seeing the clips, not having any. No, there was no music either. The orchestra was not there. Instead, there was this one guy who would just put in terrible, randomly placed music, like hip-hop beats and stuff. MLG air horns because it's 2010 again. Like, it was so out of place, and it was just terrible. I hated it. It was so atrocious. The award show was slow as fuck. I mean, the pacing was just absolutely terrible because they let the winners go on and on talking. And yeah, I mean, like, obviously people have a lot to say, but there were some instances where they would be talking for like what felt like 10 minutes. It was probably like 5 or 6 minutes realistically, but they just went on, and it was exhausting. And we didn't get to see any of the clips of their work. The only categories that they did show clips for were like animated feature, Best Picture, and then like short films or documentaries, which is just a weird choice. I think Best Original Song as well, right? But like visual effects, cinematography, production design, you know, screenplay where we can actually see the dialogue that they're referring to. None of that. We saw none of that. No clips were shown, and it was just so stupid. And it, you know, people who didn't watch all these movies, because let's face it, a lot of these movies were not big films necessarily. People are not going to know what to look out for. It's fucking terrible. Anyways, so I covered all that stuff. The speech is dragged. No clips. All that stuff was awkward. There was like no humor this time around, which was kind of off-putting. I mean, sometimes the humor is just absolutely terrible at the Oscars, but they just didn't even try this year, right? Because it's supposed to be entertaining, right? They're supposed to be like giving out these awards, and it's just supposed to be a fun time. And there was like nothing entertaining the entire show. It was just so boring the entire time. There was one great moment, which is when Best Supporting Actress award was given out, and it went to the lady who played the grandmother in Minari. Her name's on here somewhere. It's somewhere on my phone. I hope I can find it. Oh, this goes in the order. The order was terrible this year, by the way. Who do you go to? Young Yoon. I probably pronounced that wrong, but she was excellent. I mean, she was so great in Minari, and her acceptance speech was great. She was saying things like, you know, oh, I only win because I'm more lucky than you. Like, it was great. I love that stuff so much. And then she was talking to Brad Pitt.
Different. We played a different role, so we cannot compete each other. Tonight I'm here is just I have just a little bit luck. I think maybe I'm luckier than you. And also maybe Is American hospitality for the Korean actor?
Like, that was the best acceptance speech of the entire night. All the other acceptance speeches, I mean, there were some that were just very cringeworthy, in my opinion. I won't dive into all that, but there were some that were just really bad. So yeah, tons of issues is just as far as because, you know, I thought this was going to be like a regular Oscars, but just obviously with less people and some minor changes, but not showing clips, not having an orchestra, none of that stuff. It was so jarring. And then the order of things, they did Best Picture before the acting categories. The director happened super early on, so like they do Best Picture. It's just weird. I felt like they were setting it up so, you know, they would end with Chadwick Boseman winning, because, you know, that's how they wanted to end the night. Now, I'm not pissed that Chadwick lost. I thought he was great. I thought Anthony Hopkins was great. It didn't really matter to me who won. It was more so just that it felt like they were setting up for Chadwick. Maybe they put that category last because they knew people were going to be pissed, and so they just wanted to kind of end it like that so it would be over, and then, okay, it's done. Rather than, like, you know, have people leave the second that Chadwick loses. I don't know what the reasoning was, but it just felt like a whole bait and switch. And, okay, they had this stupid music game where they would have people guess if a song was nominated for an Oscar or not, and it took up, like, at least 5 minutes, and all I thought to myself was that 5 minutes could have been used for so many things. It could have been used to show clips, and worst of all, I think one of the biggest offenses of the entire night was the atrocious in memoriam section. This is honestly disrespectful in my opinion. It went by so fast. They had... Alright, this is a last minute addition. I forgot to mention this in the show, so if the editing is out of place here. Okay, so to do with the in memoriam section as well. So I talked about how awful it was from a editing standpoint, being so rushed. The lady who presented the in memoriam leading into it was awful. I mean, I don't know what her idea was, but she was overacting like crazy. She was like, and now we talk about the in memoriam to honor all of those people who died in the year 20... Like, she was sounding like a female Captain Kirk, like pausing and just overacting like crazy. It felt so stupid.
Pioneers and innovators who expanded our experience of movie love. Let us as one community say, thank you. You will remain as we remember you in our hearts always.
They had terrible music in the background that was like upbeat and like hip-hoppy, that was just so unfitting for a in memoriam. And some of these cuts, when you're watching it, people get like a second or less of their faces up on the screen, and they didn't show any clips of these people, right? Like normally it'll show an actor and it shows a clip of them. None of that here. It would just be like a half a second. Oh, here's this person. They died.
Loving you always until the rainbow burns the stars out in the sky. Always until the ocean covers every mountain high. Always until the dolphin flies at Paris live at sea. Always.
And I was just sitting there like, this is just so disrespectful to cut through the in memoriam. If they just removed that stupid fucking music segment, we would have, you know, had a regular in memoriam. It was just so stupid. So, and then the ending was terrible. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not pissed that Chadwick lost. I wanted either him or Hopkins to win. So it's not like, you know, oh, I'm angry that Chadwick lost. Again, I'm angry that they kind of set it up that way, right? There were so many things they did to just make us think it was going to be Chadwick, and then they did that whole switch. But it was just so awkward how it just ends where it's like, Anthony Hopkins is not even there, so it's basically just like, and the Oscar goes to Anthony Hopkins. Alright, thank you for joining us to the 93rd Oscars, bye-bye. Like, that's essentially what happened. They showed a photo of him, and the Oscars were done. It was just so weird. Such a terrible show.
The Academy Award for Actor goes to Anthony Hopkins, the father. The Academy congratulates Anthony Hopkins and accepts the Oscar on his behalf. Thank you.
That's all, folks.
I want to see if I have anything else to say. I think that's most of what I wanted to say as far as my issues go. But no, yeah, it was a terrible show. The worst Oscars I've ever witnessed. Now let's talk about the winners. There were some surprises. I got 12 out of 18 predictions correct. Now, I don't remember the order the Oscars went in because they were so all over the place. I'm just going to go in the order that Parker and I did them when we did our Oscars prediction video for what we thought would win. So, International feature film, which did happen very early on. Another Round did win. That was kind of an obvious one, considering it was nominated for Best Director. Animated feature film, Soul won, which I also predicted. That one wasn't a surprise. Visual effects, Tenet won. Again, not a surprise. Very happy that that won. I did get slightly worried for a second that it was going to be something else. Tenet won. Again, in previous years, you know, they'll show us clips, or what they've been doing, like last year, I know they did this, and I really like it, is where they actually show us, like, how the visual effects are created. So when we saw, like last year, I remember they would show Rise of Skywalker, for example, and they would show a clip of like a character as like a pre-rendered CGI model, and then showing all the things that get added to it, and you're just thinking to yourself, okay, that's cool, that they're showing off how they did the effects. This year, there's nothing. It's just, here's your nominees, and then a group of guys sitting there, and then they win. It's just stupid. Film editing, my prediction was Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal won. Then we had costume design. I predicted Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but I said Mank was maybe a possibility. Ma Rainey did win. Ma Rainey also won makeup and hairstyling, which was my prediction as well. Sound went to Sound of Metal, which I predicted. Original score went to Soul, which I predicted, although Ludwig Göransson was totally snubbed for Tenet. He should have been nominated, but he was not, which was stupid. Production design. My prediction was Mank. Mank won. I'm kind of rolling through ones I got right. Okay, cinematography, this was one of the ones that I got wrong. I predicted Nomadland. Again, I was surprised with this category that Tenet wasn't nominated. I didn't think Tenet would win if it was nominated, but thought it would get nominated at least. It did not. Nomadland was what I thought was going to win. Mank won, which is not an upset in my opinion. I do think Mank was a very well-made movie. Like I said in the video with Parker, I think Mank is a masterful film from a technical level. I didn't necessarily find the story the most captivating, but I did think, you know, all of the things from a technical level, the sound, the cinematography, the production design, whatever, all those things are phenomenal. So it winning cinematography, I was all for. I did think it was going to be Nomadland, just because I thought that was a very beautiful movie, but it wasn't. It doesn't bother me, though. Adapted screenplay, my prediction was Nomadland. It went to The Father, which in retrospect, I can understand, because Father seems like more of a movie that is I'd say, more reliant on its dialogue, maybe. Whereas Nomadland's more reliant on just like the emotion that you feel while watching the film, since it's a very surreal experience. So Father won, which I was cool with. That was 11. 12. Original screenplay. Okay, so I predicted Trial of the Chicago 7, which is what I thought would win. Well, I didn't necessarily... I was hoping it would win, because I think that definitely had the best... Like, I thought it had the best dialogue, and it was the most interesting watch out of those nominees. But Promising Young Woman won, which was just stupid. I don't like Promising Young Woman. I think it's the worst Best Picture nominee. It's not a terrible movie. It just... I explained it like this yesterday. I said it feels like a Blumhouse film that was given a higher budget and better people working on it, because it did. The ending was just so terrible. But, like, screenplay... Okay. So, yeah, it won that. Then we had actress in a supporting role. I predicted Minari for Yoon. I'm pronouncing that wrong. She won, which I was very happy about. Then we had 14 actor in a supporting role. My prediction was Daniel Kaluuya, who won. Then we had actress in a leading role. Now this was a category that I honestly had no idea what to go with, because Viola Davis was great in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I have not seen The United States vs. Billie Holiday, so I couldn't really speak for Andrew Day. Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman, I've basically heard nothing about that performance. Frances McDormand in Nomadland, I thought she was great, but I didn't think she was going to win necessarily, because her performance it was very contained, right? Like, it wasn't one where she's saying a lot of dialogue and very over the top. It was a very, like, personal, more held-in performance, and so I didn't think she was going to win because of that. My prediction, I believe, was Ma Rainey for Viola Davis, but I heard a lot of people today saying it's going to be Carey Mulligan, and I was kind of like, oh, maybe it is, and I didn't really like that. But no, it was Frances McDormand, and I honestly think Viola was the best out of these, but, you know, Frances still gave a great performance. Alright, sorry, I'm all over the place here. Then we come to actor in a leading role, which... Well, actually, I'm going to discuss that last. Okay, directing, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, not a surprise. And then Best Picture was Nomadland, again, not a surprise in my opinion. Directing, Best Picture and Best Actress, I felt like were the two shortest acceptance speeches. I think the longest was probably International Feature Film. I think Another Round went on for a while. But yeah, let's talk about Best Actor. Again, so my prediction was that Chadwick was going to win, right? Because I thought that he gave a stellar performance, and I think his death I personally found that his death was going to probably just give him a slight edge, which isn't a bad thing. I just kind of felt like he's probably going to win, which I'm cool with. I thought Anthony Hopkins was great as well. He was my second pick, and Anthony Hopkins won, which I remember my exact reaction, and I will quote it. I was sitting there. They said Anthony Hopkins, and I just yelled, "What the fuck?" I was so shocked that he had won. I thought he gave a great performance, so I have no issue with Anthony Hopkins winning. He is a phenomenal actor, one of the best of all time. But I was shocked that he won, honestly. Am I against his win? Not at all. I thought he was great. It's just, it felt very weird to me how... I personally felt like the majority of... it felt like it was set up for Chadwick, right? Because of the way they did things out of order. I was like, okay, they're doing it out of order because they want to end the night with Chadwick, which is a good way to send it off. But, nope. Chadwick did not win, so obviously he's never going to get an Oscar. So I was very surprised by that. I heard some people online complaining, his wife is out there for no reason. I don't know if his wife was there actually in the attendance. Maybe she was. I don't know. If so, that's kind of but yeah, I mean, damn, that was shocking to me. Again, not against it, but I just think the way they executed it was horrible. Again, I have two theories. One was that they were going to have Chadwick as the winner, and that was what they're going to end it. And then my other prediction, after the show ended, was maybe they did that last because I knew people were going to be pissed that Chadwick didn't win, and so they kind of wanted to just, end the show like that, so then it's just over, right? I don't know what their reasoning was, but I think this is going to go down as, probably the most hated Oscars ever, because I have heard so many complaints online. Anyways, there you go. Those are my thoughts on the 2021 Oscars. Overall, the show was absolutely terrible. It was so boring. But yeah, it was a show. A terrible one at that, but, yeah. Thank you, folks.